Welcome to Aligned Business Alchemy, where cosmic insight meets real-world business. Explore, align, and build a business that fits you. I'm Marianne Till. Welcome to episode 1, the weekly energy compass, making sense of the energies that shape your week. This is a masterclass that I have previously run, and I've decided to have this as part of the podcast world. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the background to this idea as we sort of go through. So the reason why I've called this, the weekly compass is because I want you to think of it as being a compass, not a rule. And basically, the days of the week carry different energetic qualities that we can actually tap into as entrepreneurs to help us make really good decisions about what will be rhythmically better for each day. And that can work in our life as well. So this is not just for entrepreneurs, it is for anybody who is interested in living their life in a more cyclical, rhythmic kind of way. So this isn't about any rigid rules or getting anything perfect in any way whatsoever. Really, this is about taking this on board as an experiment and noticing what feels different for you. So to give you a little bit of background, I have been experimenting with this for somewhere around a year, maybe 18 months was when I first started to get the idea. And the reason why is because I had come out of a teaching job where every day you turn up and it was basically predetermined. This was how you needed to move through your day. Now, that was to some extent just tradition, let's face it, but there's also, this energy around us having to do things in a certain way. If I had had awareness around this, possibly I would have tried it out with my students to see. But really, it's this locking people into how you work, how you need to work each and every day, whatever each and every day is supposed to be about. And a lot of it is about not having its own particular nature, its own particular taste for each day. I think this is why so many people end up essentially with Mondayitis. Mondayitis is really that reaction to the fact that we're expected to get up on a Monday and just go, set the tone for the week. And that's not what Monday's about at all, as you will find out. So that's why I initially got curious, because once I stepped out of teaching, where my day was essentially decided for me, I'm then going, how do I make each day effective in my business without just doing the same thing, which is where I started when I went full-time in my business. It became every day I'd get up and I would do the same kinds of things. And before long, I'm going, this is really either boring, tedious, tiring, a whole range of different things. So I believe that our alignment is not only an internal thing, it's an external thing as well. This world is built on rhythms and cycles, but we've kind of forgotten that. So I started to look at what are some of the rhythms that might be useful to align with and might feel more natural for me to align. So this is what I've discovered. I've done a lot of research into it and I've played around with it as well. So let's go a little bit deeper. So this is what I'm going to go through so you have some sense of what it will be about. So we're going to start off looking at, first of all, the origins of this idea of having a 7-day week and how that became connected to the planets. So this is quite an ancient system. And then we're actually going to dive into each day. What's the vibe of the day? Who rules it? What are the kinds of activities that will work really well on that day? And, what can you do if you're locked into something that's almost the opposite of the energy of that day? There's still things that you can do. And there's some lovely things that you can do as well as support for the energy, even if you are locked into a vibe that doesn't, align with what's happening on that day. So my aim is that by the end of this masterclass, you'll have a practical way to start actually exploring your own weekly rhythm. Now, there is a lot I could say about the origins of a weekly cycle. This is because I am a history nerd and I love going into all of this stuff, but let's keep it fairly basic because this is not really important. It's just interesting to have a sense of how long people have been aware of, sort of some cycles and the assigning of rulers to each day of the week as well. So the idea of a 7-day week kind of has its origins in Mesopotamia and Sumeria. And there is some suggestion that they may have actually assigned planets to specific days. So obviously what we know about this is a little bit maybe not about it, because this was about 4,000 years ago that they were doing this. The 7-day week idea wasn't consistent and it wasn't locked in. Every period of time was 7 days and it was consistent across the entire year. It didn't work like that. This was actually related to the cycles of the moon. It is believed that they did also, bring in the planets, speaking astrologically, of which there were 7 at that time, things that they could visibly see. So we then move forward about 2,000 years and we have the Hebrew culture that has the concept of a 7-day week that is consistent across a year. And for those people who know about the Bible, this is the very beginning of the Bible where it talks about in the beginning, God created, and we have this structure of 7 days. And mathematically, this works with a year. So it was, based in an understanding of timing. Now, when we know for sure that planetary rulers were assigned to days, we need to get to this time when Hellenistic astrology was being developed. And this was coming together around 200 BCE. And this was where astrologers from Babylonia, Egypt, and Greek, streams of astrology actually came together. I think it was in Alexandria from memory, which was the center of learning and exploration. Must have been an amazing place to be. But they built the framework for what still guides a lot of Western astrology nowadays. And as part of that, they assigned rulers to different parts of the day and then to the day themselves. So this was started then and has been used and observed and verified in a sense since then. So we've got some very ancient stuff happening. All right, now I just want you to think about, as we go through, running your own little small experiment just to get you going. So as we go through the days of the week, I just want you to, notice which days already feel different to you. You're just naturally noticing a difference. And maybe think about what kinds of tasks feel easier on certain days or feel harder on certain days. That's kind of the resistance or some friction around that. It's entirely possible that you already have a kind of rhythm about the days without realizing it. Or you may not. It may depend entirely on what kind of work you do. In the example of when I was a teacher, I had no sense of this rhythm because of the way in which my days were forcibly structured, essentially. All right, let's begin with Sunday. And I'm starting with Sunday because it is about the sun, that energy that actually leads the entire planets within the solar system. So what I've got on each slide is whose day it is. And you'll notice here it's a direct correlation. Sunday, sun's day. And then I've got a little phrase here that over time I've developed just to remind me of one of the key things about this day. So, I can kind of get up on a Sunday and go, oh, it's the sun's day. It's time for me to shine. All right, there's a bit more to it than that, but the overall vibe here is of you shining, you recharging, you leading. So you're the center of Sunday, essentially. So as the ruler of Sunday, the sun is about vitality, visibility, confidence, and purpose. So that also comes into how you present yourself each day. So this is a great day for rest, for joy, for hobbies, time out in the sun, just that recharging kind of energy. But it's also good on a Sunday to take some time for some big picture visioning, goal setting, planning the week ahead. In terms of my business, on a Sunday, I like to actually take about 30 minutes and really set my vision for the week ahead. What am I really wanting to work towards in the week ahead? In terms of activities, this can be a really good day to be seen, to be visible, to show how confident you are in whatever area of your life. Very, very confident, or where you need to fake it to make it kind of thing. It can also be a good day to show that you are a good leader. So in terms of business, this can be about launching something, actually doing some speaking. It can be about, doing photos that are about promoting the visibility of your business. Right. Now, if you are stuck working Sunday, which is not a great thing to have happen on a Sunday, it is helpful if you try and bring in moments of appreciation, celebrate what's working, and just make one piece of the work you're stuck doing a little bit more visible, a little bit more creative, a little bit more in alignment with your purpose. Or think about how it can align with your purpose. And the other thing that you can do on these days is actually use colors and crystals to bring that energy in a visible kind of way. And this can often be good if you are, stuck working or whatever. So the colors, think of the sun colors, gold, bright yellow, orange. I wear my gold earrings. And the crystals are sunstone, such a beautiful one for Sunday. Citrine as well, and clear quartz. And this is for, giving that feeling of joy, clarity, and some success. So you want to actually end Sunday feeling like it's been a success. All right, Monday, change into the moon's day. once again, you can see there's a close-ish correlation between Monday and Moon's Day. Now, the words I've chosen for this is ease and flow, because the overall vibe is about feelings, softening into things, adjusting. You know, the moon rules this day, so there is an emotional feeling kind of aspect. There's also a very intuitive aspect, feeling into the cycles of life, and also really honoring your inner world. So in terms of work, you really want to have a gentle start. It's a great day to assign easy admin tasks and just ease yourself into the week. Don't make anything too high-powered and intense. Think about how you can feel like you're just taking some nice gentle steps, easy into the week, ready to flow with the day. That's how I think about it. So just personally, this is a great day for you doing some journaling. If you don't journal every day, assign Monday as a great day to do some journaling in whatever form that might be. You know, journaling doesn't have to be just writing stuff down. It can also be a great day for doing inner world kind of therapy, doing emotional check-ins, and also doing dream work and that kind of thing. And this is a good day if you're planning to do it based on how you actually feel rather than a whole lot of practical to-do lists. It's a real feeling day. Do I actually feel like doing item A on my to-do list? Oh, I don't. So I'm going to let it go. What do I feel like doing? That is what I am going to step into doing. Now, Mondays are thought of as being a day to be quite intense, to really get in and get things done. So if you are unable to avoid intensity Mondays, try and build in some really purposeful micro pauses where you can breathe, you can regulate your nervous system. You know, just sort of touch that inner world again. So breath work is great, going for a short walk outdoors. If you're really desperate, go and cry in the shower or the bathroom. You know, because emotions can flow. That's part of the flow that can happen here. Make sure you use your boundaries so that you don't feel too overwhelmed by all of the intensity. And if it is at all possible, move really big, intense activities to Tuesday if you can. That's the perfect day for them. So the colours here, think of moon kinds of colours, white, silver, pale blue, those moonlight kinds of colours. And then the crystals are moonstone, selenite, pearl, aquamarine, or any other crystals that feel soothing and intuitively supportive. So I particularly like my Monday. All right, Tuesday. This is Mars Day. So my word for this is take action. And this is the overall vibe. You know, Mars, in terms of the mythology, so the archetype, is about the action hero pushing forward to, you know, just get things done, conquer, push, act. Now, on Mars Day, you want to make sure that whatever you're doing in terms of action is in a conscious way. And I'm saying that because if you don't, Mars energy can actually create a whole lot of messiness. So if you're just allowing it to unfold in whatever way the energy wants to, and you're not being conscious about what's happening, it can create some issues around decisions. It can create issues around the things that you get done, how much energy you use. Like, it can get very messy. So it is a great day because of that action, that active energy from Mars, to really do some hard tasks, to do some, really heavy lifting on your decision making, and take actions where it's like ripping off that band-aid. So put where you can hard things to do on this day. It's also great for things requiring physicality and courage and bravery. So, that big long workout, actually physically decluttering an area around your office or your house, doing anything where you really have to be brave to get through it. It's also a great day to advocate for yourself and, negotiate your needs. And if there are some hard conversations where you need to be quite direct, do them on Tuesday. If, on the other hand, you find that on Tuesday, you're kind of having gentle work as the main thing, maybe that's what the focus of your business is, then you want to try and have some action in amongst that kind of work. All right. So kind of time box some tasks. So I'm going to take action on this for the next 30 minutes. It depends a little bit on what space you've got, but it'll be 10 minutes. So have some take action time box times. Use body movement in between, calls or appointments and things like that. So really move that body, be physical. And, at the start of the day or at the end of the day, it can be really useful to actually do a high energy workout. So the colors for this day for Mars are the reds, the rusts, those autumn tones. And same with the crystals, ruby, garnet, bloodstone. I love bloodstone on a Tuesday. Hematite, any crystals that have that energy of confidence, stamina, and protection, because you are doing some heavy lifting. Wednesdays. So for me, actually, let's go. So Wednesday is Mercury's day. I'll jump into a story. It's I call it talk and tech, but that's just my little, byword kind of thing. Now, I have to say that for me, Wednesday is one day that I really love to just be free to kind of dive into how I'm connecting, how I'm thinking, how I'm communicating. And this is because I have Mercury very strongly in my astrology chart. So this is a natural kind of space for me. So the overall vibe is connecting, thinking, communicating, because Mercury is the ruler of the mind, the ruler of messaging. It's the messenger of the gods, Roman mythology. He's very much about learning, technology, travel, a whole lot of things. Mercury actually rules over quite a wide range of things. There's also a bit of trickster energy. It's so a bit playful on a Wednesday. It is a great day for actually writing, bringing together your content, doing emails, meetings, teaching. It's also a great day to plan for studying. So if you are studying and you've got assignments to do, Wednesday is a great day to do it. It's also a great day for planning, particularly around structures and systems, where you're organizing information. And it can also be great for networking, direct messaging people, the way you're reaching out, just taking short trips and doing short errands as well. And if you are on a Wednesday needing to do very solo, very deep work, then try and do something where you need to use your voice. So the reason why talk is part of what I have for my reminder for this day is because when we're talking on a Wednesday, it actually gets our energy moving in a more positive way. So even if you're, writing and doing content and that kind of thing, try and have some of that as things that you're speaking. So it could be, making phone calls. It could be doing a podcast, anything like that. So, and if you don't have someone to actually talk about your ideas with, get out your note recorder and just talk. Sometimes I'll go into ChatGPT, just hit the microphone and just say, this is what I'm thinking about. You don't need to respond, I'm just hearing myself, and I just record it. And then it can be quite useful usually on a Saturday to actually look at what I recorded and see where the nuggets of wisdom were. So for Mercury, the colours are really a little bit of a mixture. So you've got yellow and orange and grey and sort of mixed colours, your patterns, patchworks, that sort of thing. And the crystals here are citrine, fluorite, agate, aventurine. I kind of like all of them, depending on what I'm doing a Wednesday. So it's kind of any crystals that give you a sense of clarity, of focus, and eloquence. So something that's going to open up the throat chakra. All right, Thursday. So I am actually recording this on a Thursday, which is Jupiter's day. Now I've put here grow and expand. So Jupiter is the most expansive planet in our solar system. And it is continuing to expand in some ways. So the overall vibe on a Thursday is around expansion. It's around what you believe in and what you're wanting to grow. Because Jupiter has this energy around abundance, luck, wisdom, opportunities, expanding whatever you're focusing on. So you do need to have a little bit of consciousness around those things as well, a little bit like Mars. So, Jupiter undirected can sometimes end you up where you don't really want to be. So be very conscious of what you're choosing. But anyway, Jupiter's day is great for actually having money dates. So this could just be you setting a time to look at your business from the financial perspective, or your partner have a money date. Look at pricing, look at your investment portfolio or your investing plans. And it is great for big picture kinds of things. What are the big moves? Make some decisions around that, but don't necessarily step into doing the big moving. It's also good for learning, for teaching, for spiritual work, coaching, mentoring. So if you are working in a teaching, mentoring, coaching kind of space, Thursday is a great day to fill up with your work with clients. Also, plan some big launches and, think about collaborations, future planning, saying yes to aligned expansion. So this is that conscious monitoring of the idea of expansion. Now, if you feel on Thursday that you are stuck doing things that you'd say are a bit small or a bit boring, then add in something that feels a bit more expansive. So it could be about reaching out to someone who can expand you in some way. Study something just to be inspired. Or maybe have a bit of a perspective change on something that you have to do. How can you see that as being something there that will help with your growth and your expansion? Now, because Jupiter was the king of the gods, the colours are oil blue, deep purple, those kinds of colours, which I am not wearing today. But I have got my lepidolite around. So the crystals here, also those kinds of colours. So we've got amethyst. Try and have some nice deep purple amethyst for a Thursday. So you've got your lapis, you've got sapphire, You've got your lepidolite, anything that is about wisdom, trust, receiving in terms of crystals. You've noticed probably that I have my favorites for each day. They're just ones that I've found that seem to help me engage with this energy. You'll probably find your own. All right. Friday I call fun day. It's not entirely fun day, but it's kind of that vibe as well. So the vibe is relating, enjoying, receiving, because it's ruled by Venus. So it's Venus's day, the fun day. And Venus is about love, about pleasure, beauty, values, harmony. So, the kinds of things that are great here are actually going on dates, whether that's dates of a romantic nature or just making a date with a friend, get together with some friends. Maybe take part in some community activities, find some way to connect with other people. And then it's also a great day for taking care of yourself. So that's where some fun can come in as well. So, plan for some kind of self-care rituals. Do some creative play or art or music or decorating, something that's a bit creative that fills you with a feeling of beauty. And look at money and business from a values and relationship angle. So that means that you could look at client care, you could look at collaborations, you could do something in the warm sales kind of space. All right, so Friday is not a great day to be in the grind. You really do need to have Friday as a fun kind of day. So if you've got a grind, try and do something that makes you feel pleasure. So it could be, an outfit in colors that you just love, even if they're not, Venus Friday colors. It could be just bringing something into your workspace that makes it feel more beautiful. Just be really generous with any breaks and maybe treat yourself during a break. And you can also look at, how you can make tasks feel like rituals by bringing in, a beautiful cup of tea of some kind, so some candles, some essential oils. I am actually currently experimenting with some different essential oil blends for each day. So watch this space. It's not fully formed yet. And the colours are green, pink, soft blues, copper tones, that kind of thing. So the crystals, rose quartz is a beautiful one to have on a Friday. But, your greens, your jade, your emerald, your malachite as well can be beautiful. Anything that's about self-love, magnetism, beauty, and harmony is great for a Friday. All right, Saturday. I call my getting organized day because this is ruled by Saturn. So the overall vibe here is around grounding, around structures, and around completion, because Saturn is the ruler over our boundaries, or lack of boundaries, our discipline, not karma, endings, and protection, essentially, and also timing. I should add that into the slide, but Saturn is the Roman equivalent of Kronos, which is the Greek version, and Kronos was essentially the god of time. So Saturn has that element as well. So this is why some of this, vibe is around structure and finishing things off, all of that kind of thing, because that has to do with our timing. So it is really a great day for cleaning and decluttering, organizing systems and finances, basically tidying stuff up, physically, online, or whatever. Tie up your loose ends, finish off a project, review the commitments that you have going. And then in terms of, boundaries and that kind of thing, think about the protections that you might need to put in place. Do you need to do some cord cutting? what about old patterns of something been coming up that you actually need to deal with and release? And it's a great day for saying no and meaning it. So now Saturday often is seen as more of a fun day. So if, within your friendship group, your family or whatever, this is your fun day, that's okay. Just create a container, probably at the beginning of the day is best, that, is up to an hour and a half, 2 hours long, where you do some cleaning, decluttering, organizing, all of that kind of thing. Once that is done, Saturn's going to be feeling happy with what's happened. So you can then go off and have a fun day, guilt-free, essentially. So you can relax. The colors we have here are black, really dark indigo, maroon, and really deep earth tones. And your crystals are obsidian, jet, onyx, hematite, any crystals that have a grounding energy, help with boundaries, or help with energetic protection. So I've got a beautiful piece of jet that I like to have on Saturday. All right, so this is just a little bit of a reflection that you can do on each day to just kind of check in. So we've got here some words that are sort of like a theme of what you're asking yourself about, essentially. So they're not the same as my little nicknames for the days that just help guide me. So with the sun on Sunday, this has got that energy of purpose and direction. So, you can ask yourself, where do I feel most connected to myself? Where and when even? That will help you to figure out some purpose and direction for that day, for the week even. On Monday with the moon, this is emotions and reflection. So what do I need emotionally to feel supported this week? And how can you actually ask for that? Then on Tuesday, we're looking at Mars. So it's action and momentum. What small step forward feels right today? Or, because it's Mars, what massive step forward if it was right today? It could be either. But if you only got a little bit of time, ask that question and go and do one action. On Mercury, thinking and communication. Sorry, Wednesday, Mercury, thinking and communication. So what ideas, conversations, or problems want my attention today? So in other words, where might you need to flow your energy to open up some communication or ideas, that kind of thing? Thursday, we've got Jupiter with growth and opportunity. Where might I be ready to expand? And think about that being, not just within your business, but also within your whole life. Where might you expand? Friday, Venus, we're after connection and enjoyment. And what would bring more ease or beauty into today? And finally, Saturn, structure and grounding. And what small action today would create stability for the week ahead? So think of Saturn almost as being that finalizing energy of the week. And even if you're having some fun on a Saturday, maybe just have that little bit of time where you set something up to create a more stable feeling week ahead. All right, now if this resonates with you, if you're ready to begin building a business that actually works for you, you can explore this further inside Aligned Business Blueprint. This is a live 7-week immersive circle where you'll explore your natural business rhythm, create a structure that supports you, move from idea or confusion into aligned direction. And you come out of the 7 weeks with some really practical steps. I believe in making sure that we are grounding into things. So that's more about my Virgo than my Saturn. But I don't see that there's any point in doing something if you don't come out the other end with something practical. So, if that feels aligned, then you can check below to get some links. So thank you for joining me today. And I hope you were able to think a little bit about your daily cycle. Perhaps there were some ahas. I'd love to know if that's the case. And if not, then see how you can start to shift those energies a little bit and see what happens. I mean, I'm still playing around and exploring this energy. And even this last week, I've had a few aha moments with some of the days where I've recognized that my mental approach is so important to each day, as well as just the actions I choose. But anyway, that's something we look at in Aligned Business Blueprint. So, again, thank you for joining me. Love if you could subscribe and then join me for our next episode.